Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Bismillah walhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'een. Welcome students to An-Nuraniyah, the greatest method in learning the Quran with Tajweed. We will take you through this series of An-Nuraniyah with the least amount of time and the least amount of effort for you to learn how to recite the Quran with the proper rules of Tajweed. We will do this in a teacher-student fashion, so you'll have the opportunity to follow us along, inshallah. We will be dividing lessons into small portions to make sure that you do not become tired and that you get the most out of the lessons as you can. We will upload this book for you to download and follow us along. Today we will begin with the first lesson, which is going to be on page 6 of your book. Now these posters are exactly the book that you will be provided, so you'll be able to follow us along exactly how we are teaching here. So today we'll begin with the first lesson, which is on the Arabic letters. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
The first lesson, the Arabic alphabet. This lesson will divide into 4 sessions. First session from Alif to Kha, second from Dal to Dad, third from Ta to Kaf, fourth from Lam to Ya. Before we begin, inshallah, very quickly, there are a couple of facts that you need to know about this lesson. Number 1, there are 29 Arabic letters. Out of these 29, there's only 28 that have sounds. The first letter, Alif, has no sound, as we will cover. Number 2, there are 7 or 8 heavy letters. We will say 8 to include that one that sometimes is light, sometimes heavy. And these letters, we will also cover them inside the lesson. They are grouped together by the scholars as Kha, Sad, Dad, Ghain, Ta, Qaf, and Dha. And there's one letter, Ra, which sometimes is heavy and sometimes is light. The third fact that you need to learn about this lesson is that the heavy letters, the sound is trapped inside the mouth. The light letters, the sound is spilled out of the mouth. So the heavy sound, the sound is trapped in the mouth, producing an echo, such as pronouncing this one heavy letter, Kho, produces an echo in the mouth. As for the light letters, such as Ba, you say Ba, O, A, O, A. And the third thing that you need to know is that long vowels in the Arabic are 3. One produced by Alif, one produced by Waw, one produced by Ya. The Alif produces the A long vowel. Waw produces the Oo. And Ya produces the E. Okay? Let's now cover this inside the lesson. Begin with the first lesson, or first letter. Let's pronounce it together. Alif,
ألف
Alif,
ألف
Alif.
ألف.
Now this letter you are to pronounce it fast. Do not say Alif and do not say Alif. Say Alif.
ألف.
This letter, as we mentioned, does not have its own sound. It's used to stretch sounds in the Arabic language. That's why the next letter, if you look at the name of it, has Alif at the end of it. So we need to stretch it. Let's move on. Alif.
ألف.
Next letter has a dot on the bottom. Let's pronounce it. Ba.
با
Ba.
با
Ba.
با
Now this letter of course comes from the lips. Do not suck the lips in. Ba, ba, no. Keep the lips normal. Ba,
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 ba.
ba,
Alif,
alif,
ba,
ba,
alif,
alif,
ba.
ba.
Next letter has 2 dots on the top, and it is alif. Ta,
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 ta.
ta.
Now this letter comes from the front flat part of the tongue against the roots of the teeth. If these are your teeth, the root of the teeth, where the gums then begin. So roots of the teeth. Ta,
Ta,
ta.
ta.
Keep the sound of this letter solid. Do not spit it out. 2 mistakes that people make in regards to pronouncing this letter. It is that first they pronounce it from other than its home, its makhraj. They place the tongue behind the bottom teeth, right, and produce a sharp sound such as ts, 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 ta. And this is absolutely wrong in the Arabic language. So you need to place the tongue at the roots of the upper teeth. Ta,
Ta,
ta.
ta.
Second mistake people make is they place the tongue at the roots of the upper teeth, but they spit it out like ta, t, t, ta. No, that is also wrong. That is only pronounced as such when it has a sukoon that we will cover later on in the book. But right now, the letter is pronounced as solid sound. Ta,
Ta,
ta.
ta.
Alif,
Alif,
ba,
ba,
ta.
ta.
Alif,
Alif,
ba,
ba,
ta.
ta.
Fourth letter has 3 dots on it. Ends with alif. Fa,
Tha,
fa,
tha,
fa.
tha.
Now this letter comes from the front flat part of the tongue against the edge of the upper teeth. Softly. Do not press it hard. Do not put pressure. Look, do not go like this. No. Very softly. Just contact. Fa,
Tha,
fa.
tha.
Alif,
Alif,
ba,
ba,
ta,
ta.
fa.
Tha.
Next letter. This letter has the ya in the middle, making the e long sound. Let's pronounce it. Jeem,
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 jeem.
jeem.
This letter comes from the middle of the tongue against the middle of the upper palate. Middle of the upper palate. So there is a contact of the middle of the tongue against the middle of the upper palate, and that contact produces the sound. Jeem,
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 jeem.
jeem.
Some people they loosen this letter and say jeem, and that is incorrect. It is a solid letter. The makhraj of it completely closes. So j, j, jeem.
Jeem.
And it is incorrect to pronounce it as geem with a g sound. No geem, right? In the Quran it's pronounced as jeem.
Jeem.
Alif,
Alif,
ba,
ba,
ta,
ta,
fa,
tha.
jeem.
Jeem.
Next letter has alif at the end of it. Ha,
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 ha.
ha.
Now this letter comes from the middle of the throat. It comes from the middle of the throat from the epiglottis. The epiglottis is the flap that when we drink or eat something, the epiglottis moves down, the flap moves down and closes the air passage that leads to our lungs to prevent the food or water from going into our lungs. So this epiglottis moves against the back of the throat, leaving a very narrow passage, a very tight passage from which the air passes through. And that is what produces this sharp sound. Ha,
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 ha.
ha,
Alif,
alif,
ba,
ba,
ta,
ta,
tha,
tha,
jim,
jim,
ha.
ha.
Final letter for this session is the first heavy letter, ends with alif. Let's pronounce it. Kha,
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 kha.
kha.
Now this letter comes from the top part of the throat. You can feel it in the back of the mouth. It comes from the roots of the tongue, root of the tongue against the uvula, which is the thing that's hanging in the back of the mouth, in the back of the throat. So the root of the tongue raises against the uvula, and the commotion is what makes this sound. Now it should be a soft sound. Kha,
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 kha.
kha.
Now do not make it cracking, tough sound. Don't say no, soft, dry, soft sound. Kha,
Kha,
kha.
kha.
Alif,
Alif,
ba,
ba,
ta,
ta,
tha,
tha,
jim,
jim,
ha,
ha,
kha.
kha,
Raise the back of the tongue. Kha,
kha,
kha.
kha.
It is incorrect to pronounce this as kha. That is incorrect. It should be heavy. Kha.
Kha.
Inshallah, you need to study these letters before you move on to the next portion of the lesson, and that is the methodology that you need to follow throughout this course. If you do not master these letters, do not move on to the next letters. We will see you in the next session, inshallah. We will cover from Dal to Dad, inshallah. Study hard, and we wish you all success. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.